Well, let's look back at a couple of rounds earlier on in the season for the Formula 3 Cup at Oulton Park. Before that, though, let's catch up with Championship leader Shane Kelly.
We've had a great season. I mean, it's our first year in it as a university. It's amazing to be in such a high-profile championship, really, with an F3 car and students working on it at this level. And it's a dream start, really. We had again 3 wins at Donington. Then off to Brands, and you know we had a few mishaps there, but actually it wasn't too bad. We had 3 podiums. We got good points. We pulled away in the championship. A couple of issues, but you know that's what the students are there for. So really for us, it's a great gain for them. And Spa, you know, we went in there Spa with good confidence, and we had pace. It just didn't work out for us really. We had a couple of touches and one of those weekends, you know, and a DNF, which is obviously not ideal. But when we get to count back maybe and drop scores at the end of the season, that could be quite good for us. But yeah, sort of confident for today. You know, we had good tests yesterday. We were quick. Got a bit mixed condition now, but I think we're still confident going into it. We always go well in the wet. We had a wet session yesterday, which was nice, and again, we didn't explore 100% where we are, but I think it's so changeable. We don't know where. It could be a dry session. We don't know. There's a bit of mist in the air, but I'll probably go for dry at the moment. So.
We also managed to catch up with Daryl Jones, who's currently lying second in the championship standings.
My first season F3 Cup, doing quite well. After 3 rounds, we're second in the championship, so quite pleased with that. Here at Oulton Park this weekend, it's the conditions, as you can see, are a bit changeable, so going to be treating it with a bit of caution. Shane's sort of shown good pace in testing. I'll be happy with a few points, and then I'm looking to be stronger than the last 3 rounds of the championship.
So it's Huell Lloyd, the Welshman, who's qualified on pole position and will sit on the front row of the grid. Alongside him, Shane Kelly, the University of Wolverhampton car. George Line and Jacopo Sebastiani on row 2. Very, very wet conditions here at Oulton Park. Lights go out, and it's a good start from pole position. Very slowly away. That's James Heffernan, who qualified 5th quickest and is tumbling down through the order. But it's Shane Kelly that's got the jump from the outside of the front row of the grid. Huell Lloyd slots himself through into 2nd position as the field works its way through Old Hall Corner. You can see the ball of spray that's being thrown up into the faces of everybody other than race leader Shane Kelly as they head round through Cascades. There's number 10, George Line. He's slotted himself through into 3rd position, so he hung on to his respective qualifying place as they work their way along Lakeside. Shane Kelly in the lead of the race. Huell Lloyd, the Welshman, on a charge in 2nd place, looking to close down the gap as they head up towards the braking area for the Shell Oils hairpin. Can't do a great deal about it as they turn their way through the right-hander. From there, of course, it's up towards the chicane at Britain's, which is where they're working LA. Kelly leads. It's Huell Lloyd in 2nd place, George Line in 3rd place, Jacopo Sebastiani's there in 4th position. Looks as though also making progress from the tail end of the field is number 7, the man from Benfleet, Robbie Watts, and there is the man who's currently 2nd in the championship standings, Daryl Jones, right at the tail end of the field. And with all of those visibility problems in this very, very gloomy conditions we've got at Oulton Park this weekend, up towards the braking area for Hislops for the first time. Through they'll go. Shane Kelly, the 36-year-old from Eastleigh, leading the race. That car there, number 12, the man from Denbighshire, Huell Lloyd there in 2nd position, trying to hang on to his coattails. George Line in 3rd, Jacopo Sebastiani there in 4th position. It looks as though in 5th place, I think that's Tony Bishop, number 13, that's there in 5th position. And still battles towards the tail end of the field. Looks as though Daryl Jones has managed to get the jump there on number 60, which is Malcolm Scott. So he's dropped to the tail end of the field as the race leaders are heading up towards the conclusion of the first lap as they disappear underneath the Warwick Bridge. Further down through the order, this is Robbie Watts looking to try and pull a move on Mark Harrison. Is he going to be able to squeeze his way up the inside? No, he's too far back as they head in towards Lodge Corner. There's a spin for Tony Bishop directly ahead of him, and Mark Harrison brakes left, hits the wet grass and thumps into the barriers. Well, hugely unfortunate. Mark Harrison didn't really do anything wrong there. He was just on the wrong piece of tarmac at the wrong time, and looking at where that car is, it is not particularly in a safe position. That has now moved Robbie Watts up a couple of places. Also the slow starting car of James Heffernan, which is number 8, is starting to work his way up through the order. But for poor old Mark Harrison, it's retirement in the race for him. So he had little choice but to try and move to try and avoid the stricken car of Tony Bishop and was just caught out on the wet grass. So safety car comes out. That will gather up the pack. And for Shane Kelly, it means that he can just start to think about what he might be able to do. He had the jump as the lights went out over Huell Lloyd. And Huell returning to this championship, the former BARC Formula Renault champion. The lights are out, they're on the safety car. We're about to get this race back underway. Shane Kelly from Huell Lloyd, from George Lyon, from Jacopo Sebastiani, the London-based Italian, at the wheel of car number 4. He sits there in 4th position. And then as the safety car peels its way off right, we get the race back underway here at Oulton Park, and you can see this enormous cloud of spray that's descending into the air again and creating enormous problems. It's difficult as it is in these Formula 3 cars. As soon as you get close to the car ahead, that affects the grip and the aerodynamics of your car, but it also affects your visibility on days like this. So doing superbly well to hang on to the coattails of race leader Shane Kelly is Huell Lloyd as they turn their way out of Cascades and on towards Lakeside. So as they head down Lakeside up towards Island Bend, Huell Lloyd looking to jink one way, then jink the other, either to try and disturb Shane Kelly or potentially just to try and get a little bit better visibility heading in towards the corner. Very close this time, heading up towards Shell Oils. Gone quite again, pick his pocket. And so Shane Kelly still leading the race, this car that is engineered by the students of University of Wolverhampton in his first season of Formula 3 Cup, having stepped up from the Monoposto Championship where he did superbly well and claimed race wins. He started this season very well and is currently leading the championship coming into this weekend, but under pressure from Huell Lloyd again. The CF Racing car trying to sneak his way up the inside, can't quite do it as they come over Hilltop and in the braking area for Hislops. So it's still the man from Eastleigh that leads the race. You see the tail end of the car kicking sideways there as he tries to gather up a little bit of oversteer in these very wet conditions. All of the cars running a controlled tyre, all of them on identical wets as they head up Clay Hill and then start to head up towards the daunting double apex right-hander at Druid. Shane Kelly leads, still being kept very honest indeed by Huell Lloyd in his self-run CF Racing car. George Lyne's not that far away either. George has been a star so far this season, the man from Leicestershire. As they work their way out of Lodge, 3 for the lead of the race. Jacopo Sebastiani that little bit further back now in 4th position, not able to hang on to the pace of the rest. As they turn their way once more through what is the right-hander at Old Hall Corner. Shane Kelly still pressing on, using all of the curbs. Needs to be careful though in these damp conditions. Very, very slippery curbs. The painted surface of them can easily catch a driver out, but Shane knows exactly how far to tread in these conditions, and at the moment is just about, by the slimmest of margins, hanging on to the lead of the race. Huell Lloyd starts to close again in the slipstream as they head down through Island Bend up towards Shell Oils Corner once more, where the Welshman's continually got very close to University of Wolverhampton car. He hasn't as yet been able to gain the position, so still together as they turn their way back out of the corner up towards Britain's once more. Still the number 12 car of Huell Lloyd sitting there in 2nd position. Number 11 car in the hands of the 36-year-old, still out front and leading, that being Shane Kelly as they head over Hilltop. Still the front 2 together, just dropping away from them a shade now is the number 10 car of George Lyon as he sits there in 3rd position as they come in towards the braking area for Hislop. Shane Kelly, I think, made a slight mistake there. Let's have a quick look. Yes, he has. He's gone across the grass there. I thought he'd brake that a little bit too late, so it was a self-induced mistake, and now Huell Lloyd is looking to try and capitalise on that. He's trying to draw himself alongside as they head up towards Clay Hill. He's on the right-hand side of the circuit there. That gives him the inside line when they get towards Druids, and he might be able to go through here and take the lead of the race. Let's have a look. Yes, he's gone through. Huell Lloyd, the Welshman, goes through and takes the lead of the race. So it's the man from Corwin that now leads the race. The man from Eastleigh, Shane Kelly, down into 2nd place, and all of that because of that very, very slight mistake under braking for Hislops. Put him across the grass. He couldn't turn into the corner. He knew there'd be a spin, so opted to shortcut the grass. That lost him momentum, and will now, through and into the lead of the race, has gone the pole sitter. There was almost 3/4 of a second between these two in qualifying. Well, now Shane Kelly has dropped down into 2nd place. What can Huell Lloyd do about trying to potentially build a margin for the lead of the race? So Huell Lloyd leads there. Shane Kelly in 2nd position. Has had his pocket picked in that respect, but as far as he's concerned, his main championship rival, Daryl Jones, is still behind him on track. So he's still outscoring his main rival, and that could potentially be very important come the final 3 races of the season that take part at Snetterton Down in Norfolk. So through Island Bend, once more up towards Shell Oils Corner already. The Welshman starting to build the advantage from this car here, number 11 in the hands of Shane Kelly, dropping ever further adrift now that he's lost the lead of the race. He's just struggling a little bit with the car in these conditions at this stage of the race. We've still got George Lyon there in what is 3rd position, but he's becoming ever more distant as well as the cars appear back out of the gloom at Hilltop. You can see just how awful the conditions are. It's a grey day. We've got all of the spray that's hanging around in the air, and these very efficient tyres that all of these Formula 3 cars use are putting a lot of spray up into the air. Here is Robbie Watts, the man from Benfleet. He qualified very out of character. He was down in 9th position, the multiple monoposto champion. He's now up into 4th place, so he's been going very well, just picking off cars. And I suspect if he's up to 4th place, that means that Jacopo Sebastiani's had a problem somewhere, because it was the London-based Italian that was running in 4th place earlier on in the race. And yeah, he's sort of not come through shot as yet, even looking through the gloom in the background. No, that car is yet to appear. Here's George Line now. He's in 3rd place, but starting to be caught by the 4th place car in the hands of Robbie Watts. So keep an eye to this one. The man from Leicestershire might come under pressure for the man from Essex before too much longer. Over the start-finish line have safely gone the leading pair. Huell Lloyd leads, Shane Kelly 2nd place. Then we've got George Line in 3rd place. The closing Robbie Watts getting ever closer to in there in 4th position, the number 7 Dallara, as he starts to work his way along the avenue and up towards Denton. Here's a replay. Right, there's Jacopo Sebastiani. It was a grassy moment for Jacopo, so he has not only lost out there to Robbie Watts, it also looks as though Mark Harrison might have gone through as well, so a couple of places lost there. And here is a good fight. This is Daryl Jones. We heard from him earlier on, lying 2nd in the championship. He's had 2 wins prior to this weekend. He is looking to try and sneak his way through and past. That would be Malcolm Scott, I think, wasn't it? So here's Robbie Watts. His charge to a podium place is not quite working the way he wants as yet. He's still got a lot of work to do to close up with George Line, let alone get past in these very damp conditions. So he remains there in 4th position. This is the 3rd place car, George Line, appearing back out of the gloom and in towards the braking area for Hislops, before then up towards the right-hander at Knickerbrook. And that's when the cars then start to climb up Clay Hill through the sweeping left-hander at Clay Hill and up towards Druids, which is a very, very daunting part of the circuit at the best of times, let alone in these very treacherous conditions. Here is our race leader, Huell Lloyd, starting to work his way back through Lodge Corner. Former Formula Renault competitor, won the BARC Formula Renault Championship back in 2007 and returning to Formula 3 Cup. Great to see him out there, and great to see he's going so well this weekend through Old Hall Corner. And having taken the lead of the race following that mistake from Shane Kelly, really has built an advantage here. You can see that he no longer needs to worry about what's going on behind him. He can concentrate fully on the road ahead. Here's Daryl Jones once more. He is busy trying to squabble away with Stuart Wiltshire as they argue over what is 7th and 8th positions currently. There goes, just appearing out of the spray, the blue and white car of Stuart Wiltshire. Daryl Jones at the wheel of number 73, 2nd in the championship coming into this weekend. Not that far behind, but still with work to do. And as we said, it becomes ever more difficult the closer you get to the car behind. Not only does it affect your aerodynamic grip, also it obviously affects your visibility on days like this. This is the last lap though, and Huell Lloyd comes over Hilltop in towards the braking area for the Hislop chicane. He turns right, he turns left, he flicks right again through Knickerbrook, and he had to be patient in the early stages. He had to be almost reliant on that mistake for Shane Kelly to take the lead in the race, but there's been not a great deal of looking back since then. Daryl Jones still trying to catch up with Stuart Wiltshire, so it doesn't look as though he is probably going to finish anything higher than 8th position ultimately, which is enormously disappointing for the driver that was 2nd in the championship standings coming into this weekend. Here is Jacopo Sebastiani. He has got Stuart Wiltshire right with him as well as they head up towards the braking area for Hislops for the final time. So it's not necessarily all sorted as yet for what will be 6th, 7th, and if you include Daryl Jones, potentially 8th position. It is, however, all sorted for the lead of the race and victory, because heading out of the final corner through Lodge up towards Dearly comes Huell Lloyd as he accelerates the Dallara F311 to the checkered flag. Huell Lloyd comes through and claims victory in the first of the MSVR F3 Cup races here at Oulton Park in Cheshire. The Welshman will be very, very pleased indeed with his efforts in what were enormously tricky conditions, to say the least. So he eases the car off onto the slowing down lap and can draw breath before what is going to be a very busy second race of the weekend for him. The rest of the field just filing their way now, including James Heffernan, who will finish in what will be 5th position. Not a bad result ultimately, following what was a pretty poor start when the lights went out. So James, a great recovery drive. Confirmation of the results, Huell Lloyd takes the race victory with Shane Kelly in 2nd place and George Line in 3rd place. Robbie Watts was 4th, ahead of James Heffernan, Jacopo Sebastiani, and then Stuart Wiltshire, Daryl Jones and Tony Bishop complete the top 10.
So Huell, a fantastic win on your return to F3 Cup in tricky conditions.
Yes, yeah, it was. When we first got to the grid, it wasn't too bad, and then we had a safety car for a couple of laps, and once we get going again, massive rain shower again, and it got really tricky for the last couple of laps. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Good race with Shane. Yeah, it was nice. it's standing on the pit while watching these guys doing it. It makes a bit of a change being with them.
Excellent. Hoping for dry conditions for the next race, or more of the same?
Yeah, I think so. But the race is quite close, so it'll probably be greasy if it stops or fully wet. Either way, we'll have a good time.